So we just got the new Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga trailer. It looks fantastic. I mean, just look at it. Ooh. It looks sick. But yeah, there's quite a bit to break down. Right, well anyway, you can say it with me. Let's cue the music. So, hello there guys, I am RuggedEagle and I do lots of Lego content on my channel along with the Skywalker Saga. So, if you do like what you see, please feel free to subscribe, but I do highly recommend. But anyway, I will be going pretty in depth with my breakdown. I'll be going into all the nitty gritty stuff. So this is a full in-depth breakdown. Anyway, let's crack on with it. So the gameplay trailer opens up with a shot from the Duel of the Fates, and just before we dive in any further, can we just compare it to Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga? Oh my. So after we see Darth Maul ignite his lightsaber, the following shot is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan dueling Darth Maul, and this seems to be taken out of a cutscene. This is not actual gameplay. We then cut to the death of Qui-Gon Jinn, and the voice lines are fantastic in this Lego game. Not only the voice lines are a little bit iffy, but the voice lines sound very clear and they're really well done.
Promise me you will train the boy.
Then we cut to young Annie, and I just love the detail. This really shows the graphics of this Lego game. You can see all the shadows on the floor, the texture in the carpet. I know I'm going pretty in depth here, but you can really see the graphical potential. So now we are diving into the juicy stuff, and it is the duel from Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan and Anakin vs Dooku. And this shot just seems to be just before Obi-Wan and Anakin take their cloaks off. As you can see, they still have the capes on. And as you may have noticed, all of the interior is actually built out of Lego bricks. So the next shot of the trailer is by far one of my favourite shots in the entire trailer. And as you may notice, Obi-Wan has actually took off his cape, which happened in the cutscene in the last shot. So this might confirm that you might be able to equip and unequip your cape, or it might just be a variation on the character. I really hope you can equip and unequip your cape. So now moving on to our first gameplay mechanic, and as you can see in the background, some crates are highlighted in a blue glow, and that means you can pick these objects up using the Force, and you can pretty much pick up anything built out of Lego around you using the Force. And for this example, the player is using the Force to drop a crate on Count Dooku's head, and this kind of works as a stun attack. As you see, it knocks Count Dooku quite far back, allowing you to get some hits in. Also, if you look outside the window, you can see a Separatist Dreadnought in the background. Alongside that, in the very far right, you can see some battle droids, and they will actually be firing at you during the boss battle, as seen in the trailer. Our next shot gives us even more gameplay mechanics to break down, and as you can see, when Obi-Wan and Anakin are battling on Mustafar, we get our first glimpse at the new parry system along with the clashing mode. So this is actual gameplay, and this is not from a cutscene, which is absolutely mad. As you can see, the player is being Obi-Wan, and the player is actually balancing on the platform using the Lego tiles below, and this is our first glimpse at the clashing mode during a boss battle. So the clashing mode works differently to just regularly attacking the boss. The clashing mode initiates during a boss battle, and as you can see, they enter a clash and Obi-Wan attacks Anakin, and then Obi-Wan actually parries one of Anakin's attacks, as seen when Obi-Wan parries him. And not to forget, this is also a continuation from the last gameplay trailer. So the next scene in the trailer is pretty funny. You can see Luke Skywalker asking old Obi-Wan how his father died, and you can see a picture of Obi-Wan partying with the 212th Battalion and having a drink with Commander Cody, and basically Obi-Wan knows how he killed him because he cut him in half, so yeah, and he technically didn't kill him, but he injured him pretty badly. So the following shot after that, we then see Obi-Wan bricking himself, and as you can see in the background, there's also another painting of Obi-Wan and Anakin celebrating after their victory on Geonosis. We next see a scene of Luke Skywalker basically getting into his X-Wing on Hoth, and this looks to be part of a cutscene. And just to go into that detail, because it is in depth, you can see all the detail on the Lego bricks on the X-Wing. I mean, it's just great. We then see Luke leave Hoth, and you can see this again is part of the cutscene. So once Luke leaves Hoth, he then heads to Dagobah, and we do see this in the trailer with Luke training with Master Yoda. So again, if you look in the background, you can see some more holographic Lego studs, and you can also see a crate that you can pick up using the Force. So in this level, this will be when Luke is training and practicing to use the Force. So this crate will be an example of you using the Force to get some practice in. Though it is in episode 5, so you would have played through half of them by then anyway. And just in case you didn't notice, you can see Luke Skywalker doing some parkour with Yoda on his back. Or should I say Luke Skyhopper? Oh god. Oh, and just quickly, something I really want to see. I really hope when you're in the free roam and you be Luke from Dagobah, his variation, and you pair him up with Yoda, I really hope he can jump on your back whenever you want. I hope it's not just in the level. That would be great if you could. Also, just before we go on any further, if you are enjoying this in-depth breakdown, please feel free to subscribe and please go to drop a like to show some support. It's up to you. Anyway, let's carry on. So our next shot opens up with Luke Skywalker dueling Darth Vader on Bespin, and this is an example of what I mentioned earlier. This is not part of a clash mode. This is what it will be like when you're regularly battling a boss. So again, this is an example of the new camera placement in this LEGO game, and you can see the player actually uses a light attack on Darth Vader, and then I think he follows up with by what looks to be a heavy attack from overhead. And something interesting that I noticed in the trailer, I wonder if you can use the force on the pipes above Vader's head to pull them down and blow smoke into Vader's face, like Luke does in the film. We then go to see Luke Skywalker perform an evasive maneuver by doing a backflip during the boss battle. And you can see this entire interior is not actually built out of Lego, but there is some Lego tiles on the floor which do look pretty nice. So after following the continuity of the trailer going from episode 1 going through the Skywalker Saga to episode 5, we then jump all the way to episode 9 and we see Finn enter a shootout segment. So we begin by seeing Finn parkour over the barricades, and I really dig how you can parkour over the barricades. Unlike the Force Awakens where you're just stuck behind them, you can actually jump over them now, which is pretty cool. So with the background scenery looking absolutely fantastic, you can see a Sith trooper to the right, and it looks like his helmet has been knocked off by someone shooting at it. So it looks like your allies can help you during battle. Also, if you didn't know already, when you are shooting at enemies, depending on where you hit them, it will give you a different interaction. If you shoot them in the feet, they will interact differently and they will fly up in the air. But if you shoot them in the head, their helmet will fly off and do more damage. So once you see Finn jumping over the barricades, you can see the player initiates aiming down sights, which is a permanent new feature for all blaster characters in this LEGO game. They will all be aiming down sights when firing. You can also see some Sith troopers using jetpacks to fire from above and enter the battle. Yes, they fly now. So another brand new gameplay mechanic, when you're actually aiming down sights and shooting at enemies behind barricades, you can actually destroy the barricades and you can see them starting to fall apart and take damage, and you can see all the Lego bricks flying off as it takes damage, which is cool to see. Also, when you are playing through the game, you can also take cover behind these barricades, and it looks like the enemies will be able to destroy the barricades you are hiding behind too, and then you see Finn perform an evasive maneuver by dodging to the left. Also, if you look very carefully, you can also see some lightning hit the Star Destroyer in the background. For our next shot, we get our first glimpse at Luke on Crate from episode 8, The Last Jedi, and we get to see the new character model, and it looks great. It's just mad to see how far LEGO games have come. Like, look at his hair, you can see all the grainy textures on his hair. Yeah, I'm going a bit far here, but you know what I mean. Then after seeing Luke on Crate, you then get to see Kylo Ren on Crate activating his lightsaber, and you can just see how atmospheric this shot looks. You've got all the lens flares, you've got the smoke and the dust in the background. Ooh. We then get a follow-up shot of Rey training on Act 2 or Acto, whatever, one or the other. We then get even more from The Last Jedi. We get to see Rey versus the Praetorian Guards in Snoke's throne room. And here we get to see Rey actually perform a heavy attack by swinging from overhead, and you can see the heavy attacks do quite a lot of damage because it does stun and knock back the enemies very slightly. And a common theme you may notice, within all the big capital ships, all of the interiors are actually built out of Lego, and most of the capital ships will be accessible during free roam, which is wicked. And finally, you can see that Snoke's throne has been destroyed. So our next scene has quite a lot to it. You can see an Ewok is trying to build something, and you can see it's actually marked now. It's got like these blue holographic tiles to show you need to build something. Along with that, you may have noticed on the floor a barricade has actually been destroyed. You can see by the tiles on the floor, and once the Ewok is trying to build, he does get interrupted by a stormtrooper, and this is where we see the Ewok perform a new gameplay mechanic. So as you can see, the Ewok actually performs a counter-attack. If you've played any of the Arkham games, I know it's going a bit far from LEGO games, but when an enemy is about to attack you, it normally comes up with a button above their head, and once you click that, you do a counter-attack. And this looks to be very similar in this case, though we do not know how you activate them or what button you click yet. So now we get our first glimpse at some vehicle combat, and this level is taken out of episode 2 Attack of the Clones when Obi-Wan is going after Jango Fett. When flying after Jango Fett, you can see they are studs that you can fly through rings as studs, and you can also see Jango Fett actually drops a seismic charge, and you can see this as it flashes red as a warning not to go near it before it explodes. Also in the background, I can't quite make it out, it's either a Kyber brick or a mini kit, and we do actually get our first look at a Kyber brick later on in the trailer. Next up, we get even more from Attack of the Clones. We get to see Mace Windu battling Jango Fett in the Petronaki Arena from Geonosis. Also in the background, you can see lots and lots of Jedis along with lots of battle droids. I will be doing an all confirmed characters list for this new trailer, and that will be out next week, so stick around for that. And there's my boy Kit Fisto, looking nice. Also, you can see Mace Windu deflecting Jango Fett's lightsaber bolts as he runs. Instead of just standing still like old LEGO games, you actually can do it whilst moving now. Now, I don't know if it does it automatically or you actually have to click a button to deflect them. We then cut to the opening of A New Hope, and we see Princess Leia aiming down sights at some stormtroopers, and as you can see, the tile has changed from white to blue. So the blue tiles mean you can take cover behind walls, and the regular white ones means cover regularly behind barricades. Also, you can see on the floor, it does look like a barricade has been shot down. As you can see, the tiles are on the floor, and I really like how the debris stays there. That's cool. And yet again, all the interior is made out of LEGO. And like I said earlier, depending on where you shoot an enemy, as you see, Princess Leia shoots the stormtrooper in the lower section of the body, so his foot actually gets hurt, and he does a little animation. Next, we get to see another cutscene, and it's from The Last Jedi. We get to see Luke training Rey on Act 2 or Act 0, and basically she ends up reaching out and stroking Chewie. Moving on, next the trailer states that you get to explore the galaxy, and this is our first look at the actual map of the game and all the planets, and oh my. So if you want to have a read of all the planets that are confirmed, just simply pause the video because I'm going to be doing an all confirmed planets video, and I think I do know what the other missing planets are. That will be coming out very soon. And if you look at the top of the interaction menu, you can see a little character icon. This might be where you change character or customize your character. And to the right of that, you can also see a little vehicle icon. So this will be where you can pull out all your different vehicles. So the next following tab after the vehicle tab is actually the upgrade tab. And this is where you can upgrade your force abilities, your blasters, your lightsabers. And to upgrade, you actually have to use Kyber bricks. And at the bottom, you can see the player has one Kyber brick in his inventory. Also, if you look carefully, you can see on the interaction menu that the player is on the entire galaxy map. You can then switch to the planet entirely, or you can switch to the area that you're in due to your coordinates, or you can switch to the interior. Now, the tab at the top with the exclamation mark looks like the quest tab, because yes, you actually can pull and activate quests from your interaction menu. To the right of that, it looks like that will be the replay tab, and the question mark looks like it will be hints and tips. You then see the player selects to land on Tatooine, and then once he flies towards Tatooine, he ends up in the planet's atmosphere. And yes, you can freely explore around space and the planet's atmosphere. This is just a fast travel option. And then once you fly towards the planet, you will actually enter a cutscene on which you land on the planet. We then get to see Luke Skywalker exploring Mos Eisley on Tatooine, and you can see a stormtrooper who's actually dueling two blasters. Ooh. Stay away from him. Also, you can see for a very glimpse second, one of the stormtroopers actually puts his blaster away and then pulls it back out. So that might change depending on what character you're being. Say if you're being a dark side character, the stormtroopers will probably unequip their blasters. But if you're being an enemy to the stormtroopers, such as a light side character, they'll probably equip their blasters. That's just a theory, but I do think it is correct. And not to forget, a while ago in an article they did state you can choose which side you want to be on, light or dark, and I think it depends on what character you're being. And for our next shot, we get to see Lando running and exploring on Kashyyyk, and there's a Wookiee sat all on his own. Oh, bless him. Anyway, if you are finding this big in-depth breakdown useful, please go to drop a like and go to subscribe if you do like my content. Anyway, let's carry on. So for our next shot, we get to see Rey on Jakku, and you can see she has pulled out a speeder bike from her interaction menu, and she is actually using a jetpack to fly into Nema Outpost. And this gives us a really good look at how big the open worlds are going to be for each specific planet. For example, this is the size of Jakku. However though, this is just Nema Outpost on Jakku. You'll probably be able to explore the abandoned Star Destroyer, and at the end of the day, this is just a little bit of an interpretation of how big each planet will be. Bearing in mind though, some planets will be bigger than others, such as Tatooine. Next we see another character exploring Kashyyyk. You can see C-3PO riding an AT-RT. And something very minor but is really cool, when you're actually exploring an open world, you can see vehicles flying above you. For example, this shot on Kashyyyk, you can see a vehicle fly over. Next up we see Jana from episode 9 on Kefbia, and as you see very glimpsely to the left, you can see an actual character with a quest icon above him. It's a little holographic tile. Also, as Jana is exploring Kefbia, you can see the Death Star ruins in the background, and if you look very carefully, you can see a dock below. So it might mean you can pull out a water-based vehicle and you can actually travel to the Death Star ruins on Kefbia. That'd be wicked if you can. So our next shot gives us confirmation on a boss battle we've been wanting for ages in a LEGO Star Wars game, and that is the Yoda vs Palpatine boss battle. And this is actually part of the gameplay, this is not part of the cutscene. As you can see, Yoda is actually in a clash mode with Palpatine, a bit of a different one because it's using Force Lightning, not lightsabers. Also, if you look to the right, you can see a lever that you can jump up and pull down to activate a trap. And like they said ages ago, there's lots of ways you can defeat a boss. Like you saw earlier, you can pick stuff up with the Force and throw it at them, you can just duel them with your lightsaber, or you can activate traps, and that looks like that will be a trap that you can activate. Also, if you look behind the lightning, you can see again another barricade, so Jedis can actually take cover behind the barricades and probably use Force push behind them. Next is one of my favourite shots from the entire trailer, and that is Han Solo on Hoth. There's been not much Han Solo in this trailer, it's the first Han Solo we've seen in the trailer, but it looks incredible. The snow on the screen, the snow on the Tauntaun. Oh, I love this shot. It's one of my favourites in the trailer. You can also see a zip line above his head too. And then if you look into the background, you basically get to see the open world of Hoth, and basically this gives you an idea of what to expect on Hoth. We then cut back to another scene from The Last Jedi, and this actually looks to be a boss battle. As you can see in the background, you can see Phasma is behind some shields, and you can see Finn is shooting at the TIE fighters above. So this actually looks to be the Finn vs Phasma boss battle. We then get an absolute stunning shot of the Millennium Falcon from episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, and we do get to see 2 Star Destroyers, and they're all built out of Lego. We then get to see even more gameplay combat as Qui-Gon Jinn basically defeats some battle droids, and this is a perfect example of what the combat will be like as you're going through the free roam. So it just looks like Qui-Gon here is using some light attacks to defeat the battle droids. And alongside that, we get another glimpse at Naboo. And again, if you look very carefully, when Qui-Gon defeats the B-1 battle droid, when it falls back and hits the floor, it actually shatters into all its parts. Next, we get another look at another boss battle, and this looks to be Chewbacca on Jabba's sail barge manning the turret to fire at Boba Fett in the air. One of my other favourite shots from the trailer is Obi-Wan on Kamino, and I just love how Kamino looks with the rain. And as you can see, again, the pole in the background actually has that outline, so you can use the Force on the pole. Also, for a very brief moment, you can see the Force outline actually appears on R4, meaning you can pick up R4 and basically throw him at the bosses, which is pretty cool. So you can use the Force on your droid whenever you want. Next, we get a look at Rey exploring Takodana in free roam, and you can actually see the Kyber brick. Like I said, Kyber bricks are the new gold bricks, and in the game there is a total of 952 Kyber bricks. That's last time we checked, however they could have been increased. You can also see another Kyber brick in the background too, along with some X-Wings. There's quite a lot to this shot. And like they said ages ago, you can actually go into quite a lot of the interiors on the open world, so you'll probably be able to explore all the interior of the Takodana castle. Next, we get confirmation of another level inside the Phantom Menace, and that is the Bongo escape from the big fish. There's always a bigger fish. And then the final few shots of the trailer is basically Rey running away from Kylo as he chases her down in his TIE Interceptor. And then the trailer cuts to the title card, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and then we get the release date, which is spring 2022. And then it cuts to a cutscene of Yoda saying, "We're not ready. We are ready. We are ready, Master." But anyway, there you go, that has been the entire gameplay trailer breakdown. there was a lot to that trailer. If you did find that useful, please go to comment down below, and please go to drop a like and subscribe. I don't think I missed out a single thing. I went pretty in depth with that. Anyway, just before you go, if you actually want to check out my live reaction, you can do that. I'll put an end screen at the end of the video. Anyway, I will have lots of other videos coming out. I've got all confirmed planets, all confirmed characters. I've got lots and lots of stuff dropping in the next coming days. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in a bit. Adios.